Hello, I'm a minute late because I thought I was going to be doing this on my computer, but I wasn't able to make that work, so I'm closing that out right now. Um, I'm a novice at all this, so I just do it the old way right here on my phone. Anybody coming on board? I'm going to give you a few minutes to get on board. And look forward to today as we start building a purposeful business, the book. Say hello, anyone that comes on. I'll give you 1 more minute and 2 seconds. That'll be a 2-minute warning altogether. Looking forward to doing this with you today. Let's see if I can get this over here. We got anybody here? I'm going to wait for just a moment. I announced it late. Usually I announce it a day or two ahead of time, and I thought I would announce it just an hour or so ahead of time. Maybe that wasn't a good idea. Okay, well, 8 seconds away, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Now in 2 minutes. So first of all, I have placed in the post 2 things. I had hoped to put the landing page in there for you to be able to access this book for free. But in lieu of that, if you just put your email address in a comment somewhere, then I can send you the book that way. By next week, the landing page will be ready, so you could just wait till then, but who knows if you'll be here next week. So I would suggest that you just leave your email in the comments, and then I'll be able to send you the free book if you so desire. Okay, so we do have Kush on now. Hello, glad to have you. See if anybody else is going to come on board here. Before I get too started, as I was just saying, I had hoped to have had the landing page link that you could access the Building a Purposeful Business book for free, but I didn't have that landing page ready yet. It'll be ready next week, but just feel free to put your email address in the comments, and I'll send you a free copy of Building a Purposeful Business, which is what we'll be using today for the most part. Magdol Avera, hello, good to have you. There's a few other people, but no comments. Some of you other folks want to say hello. Just a quick hi, just a quick hello before we get started. There's Finley Reeves. I think I've seen you before. Hey there. Thanks for coming. There's a few others. Anybody else? Okay. McDowell asks, how are you? I'm doing great today. It's a beautiful day here in Maryland. If you'll note where any of you folks are from, that would be interesting. Thank you, Finley, for responding to my thanks for coming. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And we are looking at Building a Purposeful Business. That's the book that I wrote. And I'll just say it one more time. Place your email address in the comments if you'd like to get a copy of it. By next week, I'll have the landing page ready. I thought that would have been ready by today, but we didn't get it quite ready. So that's the book that we're primarily using. Why did I write it? And it was quite a number of years ago. If you've been on my site or heard any of my YouTubes, then you know that I wrote this book like 25 years ago, and I just now updated it because a lot of things have changed. And so I wrote it because I had just sold the business, and so I had a little bit more free time, and I was looking back, looking back to some of the mistakes I had made, looking back to why I didn't want to stay in the business. I was reflecting, and so it was a time, and I enjoyed writing, and so that kind of came together, and I had that time as I was transitioning into some other things. And so I wanted to write it to help some others avoid some of the issues that I didn't avoid. And so there are actually 9 pitfalls chapters in this book that are specific to that. And we'll get to those eventually. Today we're primarily going to be looking at the first 2 foundational concepts that I think are so important to starting a business. And I'm 75. And somebody asked, "How old are you?" Quick question. And again, McDougal, you don't have to buy it. I can send it to you. Just place your email in the comments here, and I'll send it to you. An e-copy. If you want the paperback, yeah, you have to go on Amazon. Okay, so I wrote it because I was at that time in my life where I was reflecting, I was looking back, I was, looking at, why I wanted to get out of the business. I had tired of it, and so I was just at a kind of a perfect stage in life where I did that. And so I kind of put it together with the idea in mind that if others can avoid some of the mistakes that I've made, then that'll be helpful. And I just think I enjoy encouraging others in small business. And for me, I'd always had a desire to do a business. And I think that came from within me because of my father had his own business, and his father before him did. So I guess somehow it was in the blood. So that kind of gets to the profound pursuits realm. I've also put that in the post today, the access or the link to profound pursuits on Skool, Skool. Just started that a couple of weeks ago. Haven't done just much with it just yet, but we're getting it started, and we're going to be going heavy at that in the next few weeks. Profound pursuits on Skool, and so the link is in the post. So one of the things I looked back on was my management style. Because I realized I was a poor manager. I didn't do it very well. Before I sold it, I had to reorganize it because I had a bankruptcy. So again, if you've been around on the tube, you know that. And again, I'll share more of that as we go through this book. So I went through a corporate bankruptcy early on, and then reformed the business into what's called a sales agency. So I did that because I realized that I wasn't a very good manager. And I was too lax, too laid back. I let people have responsibilities and did a poor job of accountability and holding them accountable and requiring high expectations. You see, this book is more kind of a personal story. This is not a Tony Robbins kind of perspective where you get deep into knowing who you are, although I do address that, and getting a hold of those deep concepts that you need to understand about life and especially business. It's not Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone goes at business in a really, really heavy way. And if any of you are looking to build a big business, you need to get mentoring from one of Grant Cardone's mentors, because he does a great job there. But what I could have done way back then, I had a young fellow that came into the business with me as just an installer. He was a few years younger than me, and so I brought him in, and he was working on one of the vans and going out into the field. And so after a short time, maybe 6 months, a year at the very most, he was anxious to do something on his own. And again, I always enjoy encouraging that. And so we went to another city nearby, Richmond, from here in Maryland. And I wanted to initially set it up as a franchise for him. Well, again, because of my poor management style, I wasn't able to do that. And Jim just kind of took it off on his own and began to do a great job with it. So I say all that to say that what I could have done then, if I was aware, if I was attentive, if I was looking at myself like I do now, that I didn't then, and that's what, again, what I encourage you folks to do early on before you even begin to think about starting your own business, is I could have looked at him and said, he's got certain talents and abilities, and I have certain talents and abilities, and, together we could do great things. He went on to do great things. He built his business to such a place where he was able to move to Florida and retire there. And not retire, I'm sorry, semi-retire and operate from there. Now in the recent years, he's had to come back because he failed at two things. First was he didn't scale it so that it was growing without him. And secondly, he didn't have an exit strategy, a way to get out of it so that it would pass on to someone else and someone else would just continue to run it. He had hoped that would be his son. Later, he hoped that would be his son-in-law, and neither of them were willing to take that on. It's a service business, so it's very intense. It's and especially in today's market, you need service people that want to work hard to get the job done. And so again, I say all that again to say that I could have looked at that and could have done that business an entirely different way. But instead, I just kind of held on to it myself, looking at myself as being the one that could do everything. That's what you do in a small business starting out, is you do everything. And we tell ourselves lies. We've talked about that in other videos where we want to be careful of doing that. We want to be assessing the truth, not telling ourselves lies. The idea that like the Word of God, for instance, discerns between the thoughts and the intents of the heart. The heart, the real us, the core of our being, needs to be assessed between the thoughts and its intents, because our thoughts are always good about ourselves. We're thinking we're doing a great job and that we're doing everything right. But the intent of the heart is often something entirely different. So had I taken that approach, it would have maybe had better results instead of the bankruptcy. So, but again, I changed it to a sales agency, and it's the sales agency that I later sold. Sales agency, you just kind of operate by yourself. Anybody that comes in, they operate by themselves, and so that's why I went that way, because that worked for me. But these are the kind of things that you have to assess ahead of time, not wait until after the fact. I just found myself in that business. I wanted to be in business for myself. Happened upon someone in North Carolina that took me in like a son, frankly, and so I really was impressed with the relationship that he and I had. He took me in like a son. He was like a father to me. And so I just kind of fell into that business. I didn't give it a whole lot of thought about purpose and direction and where it's headed and all that sort of thing. I just began doing it, and that's what we talk about in this channel. The idea of being transformed, the idea of building, which is what we do day in and day out, and pursuit, those things that are on our heart, those things that we really want to go after. And none of that connected with me at that time. I was just doing. And so I challenge you to take the right approach, to think about these things ahead of time, But I do encourage you to consider business for yourself, even if it's not something like that was in me, where it was kind of a driving force. Because today the world is different. And even though as we go through this book, we'll discuss things mostly regarding brick and mortar business, today, you can do it entirely differently. It's, such as the research I've just done on the legacy digital product. And I've determined that that's a great product, and I'm pursuing it myself, and challenging you to do that as a business, because it doesn't require the passion and the motivation that we'll talk about in this book about that a brick and mortar business requires. And that's at tedhoodonline.com, tedhoodonline.com, and you request the blueprint there, and you'll get an email with the blueprint. When you get that email, then you respond to it by just a thank you or something, so that when we interact back and forth on those emails, it won't go to your spam. But immediately will come up a video by the founder, a young lady named Michelle, young to me, maybe older to you. She's a grandmother too. But she does a great job of training, and she put this whole thing together, and she's made like $5 million over the past 3 years, and she has made 10 millionaires as well, and she wants to do 100. That's not why I'm in it. I'm doing it, for the extra income, but mainly to find products that work for you. We do another product that, well, let me wait to share that. I say all of that to say that, you want to have that passion, you want to have that motivation when you're building a big business. But let us say that you're just looking at this digital product, you're looking at an online business, you're looking at something that's less than a big deal. You still need to have a real commitment to the product. You still need to value the product or service that you're providing. So you still need a strong embrace of whatever it is that you're going to be involved in, so that that comes through in all that you're doing as you do that business. Again, it doesn't have to be that you have this passion because you've invented something or that you experienced something and therefore you want to help others through an experience similar that you went through. Or that you have found a great product that you think the whole world ought to have, and so you're passionate about it. No, you can operate in today's world without that kind of passion, but you do have to have a solid commitment, an understanding that whatever it is you're promoting, whatever it is that you're a part of, that you really see value in, and that you see as something that can really help people. So you've got to embrace that if you're going to do a small business. And so that's the matter of connecting the heart to the doing. That is, that we're not just doing for the sake of doing. Again, back when I started all of that, I was really just interested in making money to pay the bills first of all, and then to build a family. I was having children come quickly, wound up with 4, and they came over just an 8-year period. And so you have a lot of bills that begin to accumulate, and so you need to generate income, and that's kind of what you're focused on, just doing. And if we don't give ourselves time to think about the why, then we'll be locked in to a kind of a bondage of just doing. And again, that's what I want to challenge people to stay away from. I want you to go the right way, do it the right way, and look at the pursuits, the profound pursuits that are a part of you. What talents and abilities do you have? What do you see yourself good at? What experiences have you had that would dictate that you would do well? What are the challenges that you enjoy jumping over and getting over? So you begin to think about those things, and then you begin to form a business concept around that. Otherwise, you get halfway through it and find out you're not a good manager. or whatever. It was my case. Now, again, I'm going to address some of the pitfalls as we move along in the coming series of this. But some of those won't even be pertinent. Again, if you're looking at just online business, and that's what a lot of people are looking at today. So I just want you to differentiate between the brick and mortar and the online. Today's business environment has simply changed a lot. Now, the principles have not. So as we go through this book, the principles that I wrote 25 years ago are the same today as they were then. But the way business is done is different today. And the way that you have an opportunity to engage in business without the massive financial support that was required back in my day. Back in my day, it was more a manufacturing facility that we would be challenging the guy across town that had a similar operation, and we wanted to put him out of business and have all the business in town. And today, again, the world is your geography. And so you're not putting anybody out of business, but you're seeking customers based on your particular target. So brick and mortar has changed a lot. So, but again, it still requires that strong purpose, that strong desire, that the know you've got a good product idea. The idea that it's fair pricing, the idea that it's going to help people. And so those are kind of the basic concepts that you're still going to have in whatever business you do. And so I'm going to look at just two foundational areas. The first one I call everything has changed. Now, within the confines of what we're talking about, starting a business, what you have is a lot of people coming out of, say, an hourly wage work environment, or generally speaking, the corporate world. And so that's what I deal with in the concept of everything has changed as one of the foundational mindset concepts that you must embrace. That the old world from which you came, the corporate world, is entirely different than the new world of small business. So again, and this applies to both, whether it's a small brick and mortar business or whether it's an online business. Everything has changed because in that old world, if you were, say, a manager in that world and you wanted to have something shipped, you'd call your shipping department and have it shipped out. Or if you needed a new employee, you would get a hold of HR, and HR would find the person that you need. Well, you are HR. You are the shipping department as you begin something new. And so you've got to have a whole new mindset. You've got to understand that you are what makes everything work, and that really nothing happens until you're focusing on what needs to happen. And so again, we look at that idea of focus later in the book as well. But this idea of recognizing that everything changes. So let me give you the one example that was such an important eye-opener to me way back when I was just learning the service business. And that is that Frank, who took me in as I say, kind of as a father-son, and he took me in, was teaching me the business, and we were growing, and we needed someone in the plant. And so we brought a fellow in that seemed like a really great guy, a guy named Charlie. And he was probably 35 years old, and he seemed to have all the right characteristics, and he had a good attitude, and he was positive, and kind of everything you'd be looking for in an employee. And Frank and I really made it clear that, hey, this is going to be a working manager position. You're going to do a lot of the work yourself in at least the next year. It may be 2 years before we bring other people in to help you with some of these things. And oh yeah, he understood. He understood. But you see, he came from the corporate world, and in that corporate world, it wasn't like this. You weren't a working manager, you were just a manager. And he really didn't connect with that. He really didn't get it. After only 3 months, not, like I said, we said it would be at least a year before we'd be talking about bringing anyone else in. He was at our door saying, hey, I need to get some help in here. And again, the company was just not growing that fast that it would absorb someone else, especially after bringing him in at a really good wage. Because again, we expected him to not only manage and get the job done, but do some of the work that was necessary. And we had other people in there, but he's now saying he needs 2 or 3 more people. And so I say that to say that it's because he had a corporate mindset. He didn't have a small business mindset. He seemed to understand everything. He made it sound like he understood when he was being interviewed. And in those, maybe the first 30 days, he seemed to work that way. But after just no more than 3 months, it might have been 2 months, I can't remember now, he was ready to go out hiring a number of people. And so that just wouldn't work. And the other way I sometimes like to give this analogy regarding this new mindset. And if any of you are here that have been before, then you know that I often use analogies from the Bible or examples from the Bible or Christianity in general, simply because it's had a huge impact on my life. But the idea that everything has changed is something that flows right out of the Bible. When one becomes a Christian, when they recognize what God in Christ has done for them, for us as one who has needed a way back to God because our sins were blocking a way back to God, and that Christ paid the price for that, and then purchased us a place in heaven, which he now offers as a free gift. When all of that we become aware of that, life changes. Now, it's going to continue to change in the church. They call it the sanctification process, the process whereby we are continuing to change or transform is the word I'd like to use on this channel. That's an ongoing process. But the idea that a whole new mindset is established once we comprehend who God is and what he has done for us is huge. The Apostle Paul writes about it, and he says that all things have become new, and talks about putting the old behind and pressing on towards the mark of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. And so there's much related to that. There's Romans 12, the idea that be therefore transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you might prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So it's the evidence of the change. So that transformation, that huge change, that huge mindset change, being transformed by the renewing of your mind, occurs within the reality of Christianity itself. And so it's in business is very much like that. We have to embrace that entirely new concept. We have to understand that everything has changed, that we don't have somebody that we can call and have something done because we don't have the resources to do that. If we have to buy a piece of equipment, we're not going to call the CFO and tell them to buy that for us because we are the CFO. And so having a whole new mindset about entering that world of small business is really essential. Right? So I call it in the book foundational to getting things started. And again, some of that's natural for some, in the same way that it kind of naturally happens for one whose eyes are open to the gospel. So our eyes are open, and once we begin working in the business and realize that we have to uh, get everything done ourselves, and that yeah, there'll be a time where we have others that we call on and we draw on, and we'll be able to delegate and all of that. But I'm just talking about the very beginning. And the very beginning is that need to see how everything has changed, and that nothing is like it was before in the old corporate world. You don't know that you're going to get a paycheck next week like you did there. You got to be working towards that and making sure that it happens. You got to be doing the things that are really, really important. Now, we talk later in the book about how do you know what's really important. Well, you know. You can kind of pretend that you don't because you don't want to do it. You want to avoid it. But when the bottom line of the bottom line comes down, you realize that you're the one that's got to do it. And so you do whatever you have to do whatever it takes to get the job done because you want that paycheck at the end of the week. Because it ain't just going to be sitting there like it was in the corporate world. So all of that requires an embracing of a business mindset that says that I'm ready and I'm willing to go. You see, when you have that mindset, then you are prepared for the challenges that will come. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have difficulties. Even in building a small online business, it's not going to go. And this one that I just started, I thought because I had them do the website for me, you can have them either do it for you or you can build it yourself. Well, I'm an old guy, so I do it for me. I paid them a couple $100, and they said they'd build the whole website, their tech team. And they did, but it took longer than I thought. And then I went into the back office to just like add my picture to the page, and I messed something up. So it was another couple of weeks before I could get tech to get all that done. So what I'm saying is, even in a simple online business, you're going to have challenges. But when you have the right mindset, when you're prepared ahead of time, knowing that challenges will come, knowing that you're the one that's going to be responsible for everything that occurs, knowing that a paycheck only comes because you're doing what you need to do day in and day out, is necessary to have as you go into it. So whether it's a building that you're going to buy and operate on Main Street, or whether it's an online business, either way, you need it. Now, I just want to add this comment to as you're beginning, as you're thinking through these things, and let's say, for instance, there are all types of businesses. So that's one of the first things you have to think about. It's one of the first things I note in the book here is there are franchises, for instance. Franchise is a mode of operation. It's a way of saying, let me learn from somebody else. Let them teach me so that I don't stumble and make all the mistakes that I could make if I was trying to do this alone. And so they give you a format, they give you a plan, they give you a template. And so you follow that and you work hard and you'll make money. That's the end result. You've got to make money when you're in business. And so again, whether you choose that or affiliate marketing online, or selling any other product online, or some people want to do, they want to become a YouTube or TikTok celebrity and have enough of a following that they can have their advertising pay them. And again, that's fine. Those are legitimate businesses, but you do have to assess yourself as to whether or not that's really what you A, want to do, and B, can do. And don't let can do stop you too much. If you really believe you are fit for a given thing, then you want to go after it. Um, but let's say you choose that model of a franchise for just a moment, and and then you say, you know, I've looked at all of the facts here. I've weighed everything out. I've looked at the assets, the liabilities, the cost, the initial investment, the ongoing cost each month, and I've pretty much come to a conclusion that I want to do this. And say it's a Chick-fil-A franchise, great franchise, right? And he said, but I'm not sure it's going to work. And so sometimes in that mindset, one will say, well, I guess I'll just have to trust God. All I want you to understand is that's not really trusting God. You've looked at all of the facts, you've looked at everything, and you've assessed everything, and you've done all that you needed to do, that you ought to be doing anyway to do a business. And you've chosen a franchise, and a franchise has already kind of eliminated some of the barriers and has eliminated some of the challenges so that you won't be making a lot of errors on your own because they've already removed those. So you're paying them a fee for that. You're paying them something to do that for you. And so at that point, if you say, I've got to just trust God the rest of the way, anytime we use the word just, I would challenge you to ask yourself the question, again, this discerning between the thoughts and the intents of the heart. And ask yourself the question, is there any such thing as just trusting God? In other of my videos, you'll know that I believe that it's the hardest thing for a human being to do, unless you happen to have the gift of faith. Some have the gift of faith, and those who have the gift of faith, like George Mueller, if you know that name, and back in the 1800s, he ran orphanages, and he'd have 100 kids in an orphanage and didn't have any food, and he'd pray that morning, and by the end of the day, he had food. So he had the gift of faith, and so plenty of people do, but many of us don't, and so there's no just trusting God. So for a business, you've either made the decision based on the facts and the figures, and you're ready to go at it and commit to it to the degree that you need to in order to make it work, or you haven't done that work. And so there's no in between. There's not going to be a matter of you just saying, well, I'm just going to go out there and wing it. No, you've assessed your talents, your abilities, you looked at what you like about the business, what you think you would enjoy doing within the business. You have assessed your own special abilities and your own resources. You've looked at all of that, and you've come to the conclusion that that this is what you want to do. And now it's just a matter of going about doing it. And so again, in the brick and mortar world, Chick-fil-A, for instance, you got huge dollars that you're putting out. Whereas in this whole other economy that's being built these days around us, and there's going to be more and more of it, not less and less, of an online community, then, you know, it's not big dollars. I mean, for this product that I'm talking about, the most you would pay out is $1,400 if you had two websites, the Spanish and the English rendition. So, again, you know, it's not a matter of being committed to having to put your house on the block, like as if you were going to do a small business on the street down there. My son-in-law wanted to do a Rita's ice cream store, and he put in all the paperwork and all what they require, and you know, finally it didn't quite work out for him, but it was going to be about a $200,000 investment all in all, and then plus he was going to have to pay a pretty good amount monthly just for the building where it was set, and it was an ideal location. So you've got to consider all the facts, and don't just kind of jump in like I did years ago and just do for the sake of doing. just do in order to make money. Oh, the facts and figures work out, so I can make X number of dollars here. That's what I'm going to do. No, let's tie that pursuit piece to it. What is it that I'm pursuing, that I believe that God has called me to? That thing that maybe I've experienced in life that I want to express somewhere else. That thing that I have going on inside of me that is crying out uh, to be manifest. What is it that's going on? And now let me connect that to my business so that there'll be a passion and a motivation about it, so that I'll be so committed to it. Now, we talked about motivation in previous lives, where motivation sometimes is just in order to earn money. Because if you're at that place in life where that is right now the most important thing, then that's the most important thing. You got to be earning money to put food on the table and to be able to survive. So sometimes that is the beginning. All I'm saying about the deeper passion is to try and align with a service industry or with a product that fits you and your personality, that is right for you, that is something that will work for you because of your talents, your abilities, your personality, your hopes, your dreams, those things that are desires within you, so that all that connects in such a way that it becomes an outworking. It's a manifestation of who you are, as opposed to just a doing, excuse me, of a job, doing the work that needs to be done. You're going to have to do the work, irrespective of anything else. So just take the time first to think it through, to consider what's really, really important. We're going to wind up with that one today. The next one, that's a basic foundational principle, is the value of people. And so we'll look next time mostly at that concept. But I do want to stop for just a moment and ask and hope that there may be a question, that there may be a comment. And so I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes to do that. McDowell says he understands. Great. Are you asking me? Am I Buddhist? No, a Christian. But I look really at all faiths very, very similarly. The Profound Pursuits school, again, that's in the post today, will be in all faiths, all traditions work, that we're working together to seek out what is that that's going on inside of us and how can we fulfill that. And so again, check that out and see if it's something that would work for you. All faiths, all traditions, because everybody has those kinds of things going on in them. And we shouldn't let a particular doctrine of a faith keep us from connecting together in something that's bigger than us. And so that's why we want to challenge one another in that particular place. Let's see, comment 73 just said hi. Are you just coming on board? You're coming on board about the time we're closing it out. Anybody else? Any other thoughts? Any other comments? Again, if you'd like to get a free copy of the book, just put in the comments, not on the chat here, because I think that goes away. I mean, maybe one of you can tell me, no, there's a way to access it, but I haven't found it. I think the chat is something that's just kind of temporary here while we're on live. And so put it in the comments on YouTube that you'd like to get a free copy of the book, and just put your email on there and I'll send it to you. Again, by next week, I'll have a landing page, and we'll just give you the link to go to that landing page and download the ebook. Actually, ebook or the audiobook. You could do either one. The audiobook, I've read myself through that, so you'd have to listen to my scratchy voice if you get that. But I know a lot of people prefer audio today to any of the other formats. If you want the physical copy, then you got to go buy it at Amazon, because I don't have access to print that out for you. But the ebook or the audiobook, by just putting in the comments your email address. Any other thoughts? Any other comments? look forward next time to looking at the really, really important idea that people are so, so important in whatever you're doing, whether it's a small online business or looking to build something big on Main Street. Either way, you need people, and you need to have a mindset of valuing people. Any other thoughts? Any other comments? Are you ready for me to close it out? I'm going to give you just a minute. Really good to have you here. Thanks for coming. And I'm going to close it out now and look forward to seeing you again. tedhoodonline.com is where the digital product is. Might want to take a look at that, ask for the blueprint, see what it's all about. Thanks. Talk to you soon.